The distress beacon pulsed through the cosmic darkness like a dying heartbeat, its electromagnetic cry piercing the void between the stars of the Kepler 442 system. The signal was weak, fragmented, but unmistakably alien in origin. Most civilized species would have approached with caution, following standard galactic protocols for first contact scenarios. Humanity was not most species. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, her weathered hands gripping the tactical display as the alien signal danced across the holographic interface. Around her, the bridge crew worked in focused silence, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of their consoles. "Analysis complete, Captain," reported Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez from the communications station. "Signal originates from a disabled vessel approximately 3 light minutes from our position. Hull composition suggests Zephyrian technology." Chen's jaw tightened. The Zephyrians had made first contact with humanity 6 months ago, and it hadn't gone well. What was supposed to be a diplomatic meeting had turned into a bloodbath when the crystalline beings decided that humans were too aggressive for galactic society and attempted to sterilize Earth's population with a bioweapon. They had underestimated human spite. "Sir," called out Ensign Park from the sensor array, "I'm detecting 3 other ships converging on the Zephyrian vessel. Configuration matches hegemony patterns." The hegemony, a collection of enlightened species that had declared themselves the galaxy's peacekeepers after humanity's violent emergence onto the cosmic stage. They preached mercy, diplomacy, and the sanctity of all sentient life. They also happened to be the same coalition that had imposed economic sanctions on human space when Earth refused to surrender its war criminals, the very soldiers who had saved their species from extinction. "Time to intercept?" Chen asked. 14 minutes at maximum burn," replied the helmsman. "And the hegemony ships?" 16 minutes, Captain." Chen smiled, and it wasn't a pleasant expression. "Mr. Rodriguez, open a channel to Admiral Hayes." The grizzled face of Admiral Marcus Hayes materialized on the main screen, his steel-gray eyes reflecting the same cold determination that had carried humanity through the Zephyrian crisis. "Sarah," he said without preamble, "I trust you're seeing what we're seeing." 3 hegemony vessels moving to assist a distressed Zephyrian ship, Chen confirmed. "The same species that tried to genocide us, being rescued by the same coalition that's been strangling our trade routes." Hayes nodded slowly. "The hegemony will undoubtedly claim this as a triumph of their enlightened principles. They'll parade the rescued Zephyrians as proof that diplomacy and mercy are superior to human barbarism." "Not if we get there first, sir." "My thoughts exactly. The Retribution has the best chance of intercept. What's your assessment?" Chen studied the tactical display, her mind racing through possibilities. The Zephyrian ship was clearly disabled. Life support failing, engines dead. In a few hours, everyone aboard would be dead. The hegemony ships were rushing to save them, to demonstrate their moral superiority over the vengeful humans. The distress beacon is automated, Chen said finally. "No indication they can receive communications. For all we know, they might be preparing another bioweapon attack." Hayes's smile was shark-like. "A very reasonable security concern, Captain. I believe a thorough investigation is warranted." "Understood, Admiral." Retribution out. The channel closed, and Chen turned to her crew. These men and women had lost friends, family, entire cities to Zephyrian weapons. They had volunteered for deep space patrols not for glory, but for the chance to ensure humanity's survival in a galaxy that seemed determined to see them extinct. All hands, battle stations, Chen announced. Mr. Davidson, plot an intercept course, maximum burn. The ship shuddered as its massive engines ignited, pushing the Retribution toward its target at velocities that would have crushed any unprotected human. But the crew was protected, enhanced, and driven by something the galaxy's other species seemed incapable of understanding: the absolute refusal to forgive those who had tried to murder their children. 12 minutes later, the Retribution dropped out of FTL directly alongside the crippled Zephyrian vessel. The alien ship was a thing of twisted beauty, its crystalline hull reflecting starlight in prismatic patterns. Scorch marks along its flanks told the story of whatever disaster had befallen it. "Captain," reported the sensor officer, "I'm reading 47 life signs aboard the target vessel. Definitely Zephyrian. Any weapon signatures?" "Negative, sir. They're completely defenseless." Chen nodded. "Mr. Chen, target their reactor core. Plasma torpedoes." A few seconds passed in silence. Then Ensign Park spoke up, his voice barely a whisper. "Captain, they're broadcasting a surrender signal. They're asking for mercy." The bridge fell silent. Through the view screen they could see the dying alien ship, its hull cracked and bleeding atmosphere into the void. Somewhere inside were nearly 50 beings, probably terrified, certainly helpless. Chen thought of the children's hospital in New Geneva, reduced to radioactive ash. She thought of her own daughter, dead at age 7 from a Zephyrian plague that had been designed to target human DNA specifically. "They showed us mercy once," she said quietly. "In the form of a quick-acting bioweapon. They called it humane." She turned to her weapons officer. "Fire." The plasma torpedoes struck with surgical precision, turning the alien reactor into a miniature star for exactly 1.3 seconds. When the light faded, there was nothing left but expanding debris and the memory of crystalline screams cut short. 4 minutes later, the hegemony vessels arrived to find the Retribution conducting search and rescue operations among the wreckage. "UES Retribution," came the transmission from the lead hegemony ship. "This is peacekeeping vessel Harmony's Light. What is your status?" Chen looked around her bridge at the faces of her crew. They had just prevented the galaxy from witnessing another demonstration of enlightened mercy. They had ensured that the species that had tried to exterminate humanity would never again be held up as victims deserving of salvation. "Harmony's Light. This is Captain Chen. We responded to the distress beacon as quickly as possible, but unfortunately, we arrived too late. Reactor explosion. No survivors." A long pause. Then, "We understand, Captain. These tragedies happen. Will you require assistance with debris recovery?" "Negative. We'll handle the cleanup. Retribution out." As the hegemony ships turned away, probably to file reports about human incompetence and the tragic loss of life, Chen allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The galaxy would continue to see humanity as brutal, unforgiving, lacking in the higher virtues that separated civilization from barbarism. They were right, of course, but they misunderstood the lesson. In a universe full of species that would show mercy to those who had tried to commit genocide, humanity stood alone in understanding a simple truth. Some sins were too great for forgiveness, and some enemies too dangerous to save. The void was vast and cold and full of dangers, but none of them were as dangerous as a species that would answer a distress call with fire instead of aid, and sleep soundly afterward knowing they had made the galaxy a little bit safer for their children. The Retribution turned toward home, leaving nothing behind but expanding debris and the knowledge that humanity's enemies would find no sanctuary in the dark.